Hey, beautiful peeps. Even though I had plenty of trouble with AIG and Hammy Boy last time, I noticed they took out all my clips of them, and I'm sorry about that. So this time I'm going to try to remedy that. Because, Ken, no matter how much you try to shut me up, I am not going to shut up. So you might as well stop this ridiculous campaign about shutting up everyone who disagrees with you. Now, for those who don't know, the FBI does allow people to respond to videos and use clips of those videos as long as they are critiquing them. And I probably could have future Lisa cutting in. I did find a way to get around the copyright. I am going to speed Hammy Boy up to 1.25, which makes him sound ridiculous, which is actually pretty fitting. But I'm also going to do some other things with the picture. Submitted the claim for review. However, that would have taken too long because I really needed to get it out today because I do try to get my debunks out for my members on Sunday. So I'm going to try a different method. So with that explanation out of the way, please subscribe if you have not already subscribed. If you know you're already going to like this video, please leave a thumbs up. And if not, then leave a thumbs up at the end or thumbs down. So, Hammy Boy, believe me when I tell you, I am going to find some way to bring you down. Because the truth needs to be known that you are a fucking liar. Now let's go. And while you're thinking about it, if you're new, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And if you've already subscribed to me, make sure you're still subscribed because for some reason, YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. Also, if you're new here, I'd like to thank you very much for giving me a chance. And for my fans and subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. You are the lifeblood of this channel. And now, with that, let's get on with the video.
Then you're saying that there really was a global flood. That's right. Well, isn't there any evidence for a global flood? I've had secularists say to me, I don't see any evidence for a global flood. I mean, where's the evidence for a global flood? All I see are billions of dead things buried in rock layers, laid down by water all over the earth. I don't see any evidence for a global flood.
So the billions of dead things, blah, 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 is Ken's catchphrase. I guess he thinks it's clever. Ken, it's not clever. It just shows how stupid you are. Because not all of those layers are mud. But you know what? If a grown-ass man who has a fucking geologist on staff hasn't bothered to learn what a fossil is or how a fossil is formed, I'm not going to bother to tell you because you clearly do not want to understand. And to answer your question, no, there is no evidence for a global flood. In fact, the evidence points in the exact opposite direction. Because if there was a global flood, all layers would be in the same place everywhere, and they're not. In fact, we don't have all layers everywhere, which you people love to point out when it suits you, but you conveniently forget when it suits you. Gee, imagine that.
You know some of those layers at the Grand Canyon? Did you know some of them not only extend across the continental US, but they're in other continents around the world? Did you know they're global in extent?
Evidence. How many times do we have to tell you people you do not need to pluralize uncountable nouns? And every single fucking time you pluralize uncountable nouns, you make yourselves look to be the dumb fucks that you really are. Now that I have that out of my system, I seem to recall chemist scientist John Morris Pendleton saying something completely different, and if he said it, he probably got it from you somewhere. Either that or Kent Hovind. Not really sure. At any rate, I don't think it really matters because all of you creationists pretty much spout the same old nonsense with a few tweaks here and there. At any rate, let's see what kind of nonsense John Morris Pendleton had to say about this, huh?
Now, from the evolutionary standpoint, their clock is called the geological time scale. The oldest rocks are furthest in the Earth. On top of them are younger rocks. On top of them are younger rocks. And so goes the sequence. Now, we asked the evolutionists, where can we go in the world to see exactly, in sight, these layers of rocks exactly as you've laid out there? We're thinking, where could we go? Oh, I know. We could go to the Grand Canyon in Arizona. That hole is almost a mile deep. We have all kinds of layers of rock. Guess what? About 50% of them are missing.
What are some of the best flood evidences?
If the flood really did occur, what evidence would we look for? You know, most people haven't even thought of that question, let alone thought of an answer. You know, the Bible says that the fountains of the great deep were open, the rain fell from heaven.
Soon the great flood came, and the ark set sail. Then, like every father on a boat, Noah quickly became a total dick to his family. Is that a half-hitch knot?
For 40 days and 40 nights, the waters rose, 150 days until all the high hills under the whole of the heaven were covered and the mountains were covered. And we're told that all land-dwelling, air-breathing life perished except for those on the ark. Wouldn't we expect to find billions of dead plants and animals buried in rock layers laid down by water all over the earth?
Yeah, that's kind of your problem, isn't it? In fact, that's everybody's problem who condones this literalist worldview that's proposed in the Bible because you go out looking for evidence to support your worldview. That's not science. In fact, that's the opposite of science because science looks for the evidence first instead of having a conclusion and going in search for evidence to back up that conclusion. Science may have a hypothesis, but if the evidence doesn't fit the hypothesis, then scientists must throw out the hypothesis and start over. You, on the other hand, try to hammer a square peg into a round hole because you so desperately want your lies, for whatever reason, to be true. Let me ask you something. Have you ever thought of a revolutionary idea? You know, like maybe believing true things because they're true? Oh my fucking God. What on earth are we coming to? Believing true things because they're true and not because we fantasize a reality for ourselves.
And that's exactly what we find. Billions of dead things called fossils buried in rock layers laid down by water all over the earth.
There are a couple of key phrases in that very dumb sentence you just spouted. And yeah, I will call it a dumb sentence because it is a dumb sentence, even though you got it from your boss, Ken Ham. First key phrase, billions of dead things. Now, Andy Pooh, put your little thinking cap on, and you might, just might, have a light bulb moment. There are megafauna all around the world. What would happen if billions of megafauna lived at the same time? Let's see here. I know the answer's on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, the Earth wouldn't be able to support everything.
The flood. Evidence number one, sea creatures buried high in mountains on the continents. That's right, marine creatures that live in the ocean are found in mountains like the Himalayas. How did they get there? Unless the ocean waters rose up over the continents. And we find marine creatures in rock layers all over the continents, everywhere around the world.
Oh my fucking God, Andy. You are a fucking geologist. So I know that you know how mountains are made. The only reason you would say something like that is to brainwash people. Now, I've already explained a few different times on this channel how mountains are formed, so I'm not going to get into it very far. Just suffice it to say, land masses crash together at times, and when that happens, parts of the land go up and mountains are formed. And yeah, Andy Pandy knows this because he's a geologist.
Evidence number two, we'd find rapidly buried plants and animals. Well, we do, fossils. We find fossils not only of plants, but of bees, of bats. We find fish that haven't finished having their breakfast, eating another fish. They're buried and fossilised. Ichthyosaurs giving birth to babies and they're fossilised. We find delicately preserved fossilised jellyfish. How do you fossilise a jellyfish slowly?
Andy Pandy, I know you're a geologist and not a paleontologist, but shouldn't geologists have at least a passing knowledge of how fossils form? You know, because, like, they're found in the rock, and rocks are what you guys do. Fossils form when an organism dies and is quickly covered in sand, mud, or ash. The quickly is important because that saves the organism from being scavenged and then is pressed. Usually soft tissue will decompose. However, there have been times when soft tissue has not decomposed, and we will get there because he brought it up. Look, dude, I'm sorry, but everything can be answered. At least everything you've brought up thus far can be answered. And before you say it, that, oh, you just rely on Future of the Gaps and you say we rely on God of the gaps, it's because we know in the past we've been able to answer things. So I'm not going to go too far into soft tissue preservation in fossils because I've already answered that in another video. People have looked at this, particularly in question, particularly to the Mary Schweitzer discovery. And, you know, when you're citing something like that, you're a geologist, you should know you need to cite it. Now, you know, not sure where you got your jellyfish claim, but I've heard it before, so I'm not gonna question the veracity of it because, quite frankly, I don't fucking care. But question if all soft tissue can be preserved like that, then why the fuck don't we have everything preserved like that? You know, a smart person would think about something like that, or a non-brainwashed person would think of something like that, but you don't want your sheeple to think now, do you? Well, friends, I don't want to induce a concussion or a brain aneurysm due to face palms, so I think that's enough stupid for today. You know, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. For some reason, I had to get another Twitter account, so if you're already following me, please make sure that you are following me on my new account, link in the description, instead of my old account. So, yeah. We're getting invaded by the stupid over here in America. Don't know about anywhere else in the world, but definitely here in America. You know, Australia, if you want Ken Ham back, I'll gladly hand him over to you. You know, I can't deport him. I can't do anything. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, maybe together we can get him to go back to Australia. Then you guys can deal with him. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed because for some reason YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone. I recently set up a Patreon account. You can follow me over there. I will start releasing patron-only content as soon as I get probably about 10 people. So, yeah, follow me over there only if you are in a financially stable position. If you like what I do, please consider becoming a member of this channel. You can become a member for as low as 99 cents a month. You get custom emojis and you get these debunks early. Well, friends, until next time, I bid you adieu, and may you always have stupid to entertain you. Goodbye.